Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Mastering the Design of Underground Detention and Infiltration Systems. Before we begin today's presentation, we wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen are multiple application engagement tools you can use. All the engagement tools are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most out of your desktop space. You can expand your slide area or maximize it to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner. Helpful resources are bookmarked in the related content tool. Our webinar today is scheduled to last for 1 hour and will include a question and answer period. If you have a question, please type it in the question box at any time. Please complete our brief survey for PDH credit, and at the conclusion of today's webinar, we will provide information on how to get the certificate. Today's webinar is hosted by Robert Chapman and Andrea Somescu. Robert Chapman is the Director of Product and Analytics at Contec. Robert has extensive experience in manufacturing, engineering, marketing, and product development. He has brought numerous products to market in various divisions within Contec using his unique and creative approach. Rob has a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and technology from Purdue University and an MBA from Miami University Oxford School of Business. Andrea Somescu is the stormwater consultant for the Houston and El Paso territories in Texas and New Mexico. Andrea has 19 years of stormwater design experience and specializes in treatment and detention. She's a graduate of Portland State University with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Now I'll turn the presentation over to Rob to get us started.
Hey, thanks, Jill. Here's a quick look at what we're going to cover today. First, we're going to start with Contec's unique design process and give you a clear overview of how we approach underground detention and stormwater design in general, from concept up through construction. Then we're going to dive into efficient material selection, where we'll discuss how to choose the right system based on site constraints, regulatory needs, and long-term performance. Then we're going to move on to design and layout strategies. We'll share insights on optimizing system footprints, fitting detention systems and infiltration systems into tight and complex sites. From there, we'll look at design pitfalls, things we've all fallen into, common mistakes we see in the industry, and how to avoid them. And then my favorite part, the tech stuff. We're going to touch on the automation and design process that we've come up with here at Contec, showing you our tools that can save you time and help you design with confidence. And then finally, as always, we're going to wrap up with a Q&A. We do have our stormwater design engineer, Patrick Kiefer, joining us to aid in the Q&A process. One thing you could do throughout the presentation is there's a box to enter your questions. The team will try and answer them as we go through, but we are going to save specific ones for the end to address on camera. Contec offers a wide range of innovative, flexible stormwater solutions engineered to solve your site's unique challenges and reduce long-term maintenance costs. From traditional BMPs to LID solutions, our ongoing investment in robust laboratory and field evaluations ensure a variety of solutions to comply with local regulations, so your projects get approved that very first time. So the Contec difference. What is the Contec difference? First, collaborative design support. Stormwater management and infrastructure design require more than just selecting the right products, being quick about that. It requires smart, informed, engineered solutions that align with site conditions, environmental factors, and regulatory requirements. At Contec, our support begins long before the installation. We work closely with engineers and project teams to develop optimized designs that not only meet the project challenges, but also improve performance, efficiency, and sustainability. Our team provides expert design guidance, helping engineers tailor solutions to unique site conditions, technical consultation, working through complex challenges with hands-on expertise and real-world insights, optimized engineering, ensuring that designs meet maximized efficiency, reduce costs, and compliance standards. We're committing to deliver the most effective solution for your project needs. Speed and accuracy in an industry-leading portfolio. So when your deadlines are tight, accuracy is critical. Contec delivers there. Our ability to provide optimized designs in a trusted product environment ensures projects remain on track while meeting compliance and efficiency goals. Regulatory knowledge and approved solutions. Navigating regulatory standards can be very overwhelming. I feel like they're changing all the time, evolving stormwater and environmental requirements at all levels That's why Contech offers solutions that are rigorously tested in our labs, approved to meet local, state, and federal guidelines. So what does this mean for you? It means fewer headaches, faster approvals, and confidence knowing that your design is going to meet compliance from day one. We offer pre-approved products, guidance from experts, and then risk reduction. And then finally, support from that ideation stage on through installation. Our commitment to support doesn't end right after the design approval, and it never should. We're with you through every step of the way, from that initial concept and rough sketches to that final installation. We offer hands-on expertise with dedicated assistance through every stage of the process to ensure long-term success, installation assistance, on-site support, and then long-term reliability. Really, ultimately, the Contech difference is about partnership, expertise, and proven solutions. We stand behind every product and every project with industry-leading support, ensuring that engineers, contractors, and developers have the tools they need to succeed. All right, so you can store water, detention, and infiltration a variety of ways. What are the benefits of going underground with your product selection? While underground detention often does have a higher upfront capital cost than a pond, efficient underground storage can provide long-term benefits, such as additional parking or building space, driving your commercial returns over time for your clients. It allows you to easily meet regulatory requirements and design around unique site constraints. And then it's a safer alternative to surface water with a much more reasonable maintenance cost and schedule. Underground detention also means greener areas for parks and rec if you're not looking to maximize that commercial space. So now we're going to get into efficient material selection and discuss our products and some key factors for consideration. So when it comes to selecting the right material for underground detention or infiltration, there's no really one-size-fits-all answer. These are the factors that the team met and came up with a smart, site-specific decisions that balance performance, budget, and long-term reliability. So first, we're going to start with storage volume and your available footprint. Every site has different space constraints. Some are tight on surface area, but offer more depth. In these cases, systems that can maximize vertical storage become incredibly valuable to clients, helping your volumetric requirements get met and without expanding your site's impact. Second, you got to consider site conditions. So construction loading from the get-go, structural loads, traffic ratings, and then depth to the water table. And then on to cost and layout flexibility. So we discussed upfront material price. That's always a factor, right? The ability to custom fit your system into an irregular footprint or constrained area can reduce complex site work and avoid expensive redesigns and timely process changes. You can plan around total install costs with efficiency. Fourth is durability and service life. You want to choose a system and a product that's not only affordable today, but it's going to give you that performance for decades with minimal maintenance and no surprises down the road. And then finally, soil chemistry and water. Knowing the pH and resistivity of the native soils is key for selecting the right material for corrosion resistance. And then you got to consider other factors such as contaminated soils. Are they on site? And then do you need a watertight system? When selecting materials, it's all about balancing these 5 core elements. Some may be more important than the others, but it's efficient, durability, and tailored to the site-specific needs is what you should be shooting for in your designs. So on to the products. Contech offers a variety of underground detention and infiltration solutions. We have concrete products, metal and plastic, and then hybrid products to have efficiency to solve a variety of site conditions and requirements, ranging from watertight requirements to infiltration requirements, shallow to deep, tight urban sites to high volume storage needs. So we'll start with chambers, Chamber Max. Chamber Max is Contech's polypropylene chamber system specifically designed for shallow cover and space constrained sites. A perfect fit for urban, commercial, and institutional projects. Each chamber features a 51-inch span by 30-inch rise, delivering 75.1 cubic foot of storage per chamber. That 0.1 is really important. One of the key advantages of Chamber Max is its open bottom design, which supports runoff reduction, groundwater recharge, and volumetric control. Chamber Max is also a cost-effective solution for shallow applications. And finally, getting to the structural stuff, Chamber Max meets ASTM 2418, supports HS20, HS25, and even HL96 live loading, making it suitable for traffic-rated applications without sacrificing reliability. And now on to Duramax. So many of you may have used this in conveyance projects. Duramax is a standout solution when you need strength, durability, and then watertight performance, especially in environments where traditional materials just don't hold up. I'll brag a little bit on CMP there, but it starts with the steel reinforced ribs, which provide the structural backbone needed to support large diameters. We could produce from 30 inches all the way up to 120 inches. This allows Duramax to handle deep burial, high traffic loading, and large volume conveyance with ease. Something standard HDPE or concrete pipe can't do without robust reinforcement or added bulk. What sets Duramax apart from its combination of strength and corrosion resistance, the HDPE cell, so that's encapsulating that steel ribs within it, resists corrosive soils and contaminated runoff, making it a top-tier choice for industrial sites, urban fill areas, and projects where longevity and harsh conditions is a must. And we'll talk about that in a case study at the end here. When watertight performance is non-negotiable in applications like rainwater harvesting or containment systems like glycol, Duramax delivers. The bell and spigot joints, they're rated to 10.8 PSI, meeting that strict standards for leakage and system integrity. And then if you have to get even more critical with bottle-tight applications, we offer multiple joining solutions. Welded couplers have been around for a while. They're available to this day and continue to be a trusted option for maximum performance. But for those that don't know, we're excited to announce the all-new Quick Joint, a major innovation that we just made here at Comtech and Quikrete that brings speed, simplicity, and security to Duramax installations. This joint is very cool. It's engineered for both sanitary and storm sewer applications, and we expect it to become a staple in the market thanks to its ease of use and high performance under pressure. So Duramax is going to bring that strength of steel, durability of plastic into that single system, and many of the design practices are similar to CMP with Duramax. Onto our concrete detention products. So when space is a premium, like in dense urban environments, Southern California, designing effective stormwater management can be a real challenge. That's where Contech's Urban Pond system shines. Contech's Urban Pond is purpose-built for tight urban sites, maximizing storage in a minimal footprint. So whether you're working with a parking lot, a plaza, or a street, Urban Pond is going to get you that high-capacity storage with concrete detention without disrupting the surface above. Each module is 8 feet by 16 feet, and the system heights are customizable from 3 to 14 feet, giving engineers and developers incredible flexibility to meet site-specific volume needs without over-excavating or redesigning the entire plan. In terms of structural performance, this is where concrete shines. It's just as versatile. With only 1 foot of cover, Urban Pond handles HS20 or HL93 loads, and with 18 inches of cover, you're getting that HS25 live loading requirements set. It makes it suitable for heavy loading in urban roadways or commercial developments. And finally, Urban Pond, it can be configured for detention or infiltration. So depending on your site's hydraulic goals, so if your goal is to slow runoff or recharge groundwater, Urban Pond's going to get you that reliable long-term solution. And then on to the old CMP, the new CMP, as we'll discuss in a little bit here. So each product has its strength, and depending on the site's goals and constraints, there's usually a fit for everything. But when it comes to striking that balance between those 5 key factors that we discussed, cost, flexibility, performance, corrugated metal pipe, or CMP as I've been referring to it, really stands out. CMP detention and infiltration systems offer the widest range of sizes, shapes, and material coatings in the industry, which makes it an incredible versatile project across all regions of the United States and all project types. So whether you're dealing with shallow cover, tight footprints in commercial projects, aggressive soils, there's almost always a solution that's going to fit and is going to fit economically. So let's take a look at why CMP is the go-to for engineers without worrying about compromising on design flexibility. So flexibility in design, when we talk about that for underground detention and infiltration, CMP is going to stand out, especially on sites with tight constraints. You're going to hear that word a lot. And then when you are competing priorities for land use, so green areas, commercial development efforts. So First, custom configurations are a major strength with CMP and also Duramax. So systems can be fabricated to spec, so custom Ys, Ts, and elbows means they can be laid out to almost any footprint. It gives us the ability to navigate around utilities that are existing, difficult easements. And then secondly, there's a wide range of gauge and corrugation options, meaning you could design for a variety of site conditions and structural loading needs. CMP can be produced in 12-inch all the way up to 144-inch in diameter and can handle anything from small urban systems to large-scale industrial warehouses and data center storage requirements. And then the flexibility continues with access risers, manifold placements, inlets, and outlets. So with CMP Duramax, you're not limited to preset configurations. We can place access points, inlets, and outlets wherever is needed for inspection and maintenance, which helps with long-term system performance and safety as well. And then outlet control structures such as orifices, internal weir walls, they can all be designed using our DYL software we'll get to. Custom configured in the system, you can avoid the need for external structures that are out there. So overall, the design flexibility that you're getting with our pipe products maximizes space, meets performance goals, and then reduces installation complexity while getting you that cost efficiency that you're looking for. So when it comes to material selection, so it's not just one coating that's out there. The go-to is aluminized type 2, offers excellent long-term performance for most soil conditions. So when you're dealing with more aggressive or corrosive environments, we will recommend going all the way to the right there to that polymer coated product if you're looking for that enhanced protection, extended service life, that 100+ year range. So choosing the right coating ensures the system's not only cost efficient up front, but it's going to get you that durability and CMP you're looking for the long haul. So many of you don't know this, but approximately 75 to 80% of the soils in the US are now suitable for aluminized type 2 metal pipe when it's used for underground storage and infiltration applications. So in recent years, there's been a drastic shift. So many of you know that galvanized product that's out there. The majority of UDS designs now incorporate aluminized type 2 due to its enhanced performance. And the last thing we'll talk about with type 2 pipe, and it's important to clarify that it's not just steel. So what we're really referring to is aluminized type 2, which has been proven for over 60 years. Research, real world field performance, a wide range of applications. It's been studied by national entities. There's reports out there that team can get you. So why is it so widely trusted? It comes down to that aluminum alloy coating, which provides superior corrosion resistance in acidic and moderately aggressive soil. So talking about that soil profile, looking at pH between 5 and 9, and that resistivity about 1,500 ohm centimeters, it's going to get you a strong, reliable solution. And then one thing that many folks don't realize, even many here at Contech, is aluminized type 2 CMP isn't the product of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Over the last decade, with technological improvements, quality control measures, the suppliers have made significant coating improvements, quality and consistency, uniformity of the corrosion aspects of it, and forming. So the material properties are much different than it was a few decades ago. So we're going to slide over to Jill for a poll question, gather some interactive feedback, so get ready to respond to that. And then we're going to roll into Andrea's section where she's going to review effective design and layout strategies for y'all.
That's right. Here's our first question. How many aluminized type 2 corrugated metal pipe drainage and detention projects are installed annually in the United States? Is it 22,350, 42,250, 55,000, or 62,500? I'll give you some time now to mark your answers. And to submit your poll answer, please click the answer on your computer screen and then click the submit button. Just a reminder, if you have a question, please type it in the question box and I will ask them at the end of the presentation. I'll give you some more time. The answers are rolling in. Don't want to rush you. Just a couple more moments. Let some last minute answers be put in. Well, looks like most of you have answered, so I'll share the results. looks like 9.9% say 22,350, 32.4% say 42,250, 40% say 55,000, and 17% say 62,500. And the correct answer is 55,000 according to the NCSPA. So now I'll turn it over to Andrea to continue the presentation. Andrea, you might be muted.
No.
Oh, I hear you now.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Thank you, Jill, and good afternoon, everyone. Proper design and installation of underground detention systems are very important and will ensure long-term performance. So let's go over some things to keep in mind when designing with CMP systems and in general underground detention. Loading conditions. Think about what loads the system will need to withstand in the final conditions. Are you designing for HS20, HS25 loads, or heavier loads? Also keep in mind that during construction, additional temporary cover may be needed while heavy equipment is used to travel over the system. What is the minimum amount of cover that is needed to withstand the required loads you're designing for? If a rigid pavement like concrete has been specified, the pavement thickness can be included within that total cover requirement. If a flexible pavement like asphalt is specified, the cover would need to be measured to the bottom of that flexible pavement layer. And depending on the diameter of the pipe and the required loading, that minimum cover may vary. Structural integrity. Proper installation is crucial because CMP is a flexible system that gains strength through the soil compaction around the pipe and the hunch area. And it is critical that the appropriate backfill material is used. Contact recommends scheduling a pre-construction meeting with our local representative to go over the installation steps and the appropriate backfill materials to be used. The goal of any CMP detention should be to maximize the vertical space available to minimize that overall footprint. This will reduce the material, the excavation, the backfill quantities, and the labor costs. Increasing the depth of the system allows for a smaller footprint while storing the same amount of water. The required volume is a fixed number that doesn't change, and it is based on the local regulations, and designing a smaller system will always yield a more economical solution overall. The CMP system requires a minimum cover to withstand the typical traffic loads, ranging from 12 inches to 18 inches, depending on the diameter of that pipe. You need to account for this minimum cover when designing and choosing the appropriate diameter for the system. Doubling the diameter of pipe from 48-inch to 96-inch gives us 4 times more storage volume per foot of pipe. This provides significant cost savings per cubic foot of storage once you consider both the material cost and installation cost. This is a very important concept. Going larger means it will be less material to ship and install, less excavation because of that smaller footprint, and also less backfill material. Now let's go through this quick example here where we are comparing 3 different systems, the Chamber Max, a 48-inch system, and a 96-inch diameter system, all designed to store some of the volume in the surrounding stone backfill. The storage volume requirement in this example is 20,000 cubic feet. We have about 10 feet of depth to work with and a footprint of 100 feet by 100 feet. As you can see here on the slide, the 96-inch system significantly reduces the footprint, which ultimately will also reduce the excavation quantities and stone backfill quantities. Construction costs vary from region to region, but if you look at both material and installed cost, you will see the largest 96-inch system becomes the most economical of the 3. As the volume gets larger on projects, the savings will also increase, and you could see savings of up to 30 to 40%. Now let's go over some efficient layout strategies to use when designing with CMP. Designing with longer pipe runs is always more economical because you are reducing the number of fittings such as T's and elbows. So remember, long and skinny is the most efficient design. Using a single manifold system with bulkheads at the other end is the most cost-efficient and easiest to install by the contractor. In large diameter systems, we recommend using smaller diameter manifolds to reduce cost and for faster lead times and installation. You can also look at reducing the spacing between the barrels. If you do that, you can reduce the overall footprint of the system. Talk to your contact stormwater representative to find out what is recommended based on the backfill material being used in your region. And don't forget to add your inspection and maintenance access points by adding risers up to grade to close to your inlets and your outlet. Also eliminate structures. You can utilize these risers as inlets above the system. That way you are eliminating the need of additional catch basin on your site. You can also incorporate the outlet flow control within the CMP system by adding an orifice plate. When designing infiltration systems, you have to consider what the infiltration rate of the soil is. Most jurisdictions have a maximum drawdown time requirement, and our engineering team can help with that state storage calculation and also the drawdown time calculation to ensure that requirement is met. Make sure you choose the right stone backfill material that is free draining, angular wash stone with a certain particle size that will provide the void space for that volume storage. Please note that the industry standard is to use 40% voids. However, there are some jurisdictions that are more conservative and decided to reduce that to maybe 20 or 30% voids. Recommend the geotextile layer around the trench to prevent soil migration and protect that stone layer. And also watch for high groundwater to ensure your system invert will be placed higher. When designing infiltration CMP, maximize your storage ability by adjusting your specified stone layers. CMP requires a foundation bedding layer material, stone that surrounds the pipe to provide some additional volume in that void space. You can maximize your effective storage volume by counting the 6-inch of stone layer that is typically placed below the pipe. This enables you to capture that storage in the stone that's already being placed there for backfill. Additionally, in shallow cover situations, consider using more stone above the pipe to eliminate the need for an intermediate backfill layer between that CMP stone envelope and that finished grade base material. Stone layers can be adjusted in 1-inch increments, allowing you to further maximize your storage volume for your given footprint, while simultaneously eliminating the need for that thin intermediate backfill layer. This will make the installation process faster and often more cost-effective as well. The Design Your Own Detention System, the DYODS tool on our Contact Design Center, allows you to make these adjustments easily on your design by altering the inputs for the stone, as you can see on the slide. Configured for detention, retention, or infiltration applications. In retention or infiltration designs, we use a specifically designed and tested exfiltration joint that allows water to flow in and out of the pipe during and after the storm events. In these scenarios, the pipe is backfilled with stone to take advantage of that additional storage capacity in that void spaces between the stones. We can use the exfiltration joint for detention applications as well, where we have tight footprints, for example, or not a lot of depth, and we need to store a little bit more volume. In a detention application, you would not use any stone layer below and place the outlet at the invert of the pipe to allow for the water to flow out of the system. Maintenance is important to protect the storage volume and outlet control structures. And here are some maintenance hacks you may want to keep in mind and consider when designing with CMP detention and infiltration systems. Strategically place the access risers near inlets and outlet locations to make the inspection and maintenance process easier. Consider using baffles within your CMP to isolate that sediment entering the system. This allows for simple single location maintenance rather than the full underground system cleaning. Using a pretreatment unit upstream of a detention or infiltration system is highly recommended. By capturing pollutants before they enter that storage system, not only you increase the life of that downstream system, you can also now maintain a small treatment unit rather than a large detention or infiltration system. Pretreatment upstream of the infiltration is especially important. Many infiltration systems are designed such as the stone voids account for that storage volume, for part of that storage volume. If there's no pretreatment, the stone voids will become clogged with sediment, which will reduce the overall volume of storage available that you designed for. And how do you get that volume back? Now let's go over some common design pitfalls we see and want you to be aware of when designing underground detention systems. Forgetting that additional temporary cover may be needed when heavy equipment is used during construction. Planting trees can be beneficial practice for stormwater management, but it's important to remember that roots from trees can potentially damage the system if there's not enough separation. You may want to consider using root barriers to minimize the risk of root damage, and also select the right species of trees. Soils information. It's very important that you have appropriate information for the soils on your site. Non-H20, H25 loading requirements. This may include fire truck loading or garbage truck loading. Adjustment to the gauge of the pipe or the cover required may be needed to accommodate these larger loads. Also, systems located close to a building or structure. You have to make sure that you are not placing that system in the influence zone from the building foundation. So make sure you have enough space between that building and the underground system. High groundwater and buoyancy. Whenever the water table level is above the invert of the pipe, the potential for flotation exists and should be analyzed in the design. Feel free to reach out to us for assistance. And now I'll pass it on to Jill for another poll question.
Thank you, Andrea. Our next question is, what is your biggest challenge when designing underground detention systems? Is it A, material selection, B, footprint limitations, C, site conditions, D, soil conditions, E, design and layout, or F, pre-treatment? I'll give you some time now to mark your answers and to submit your answer to the poll question. And please click your answer on the computer screen and then click the submit button. And just a reminder, if you have a question, please type it in the question box and I will ask them at the end of the presentation. I'll give you a couple more moments to answer the question. What is your biggest challenge when designing underground detention systems? I'll give you a couple more moments to mark your selection. Well, thank you. Looks like most of you have answered. So I'll share the results. And it looks like 4.8% say material selection, 50% say footprint limitations, 33.9% say site conditions, 20.3% say soil conditions, 15.3% say design and layout, and 6% say design pre-treatment. I'll turn it over to Rob to continue on.
explain why there's so many redesigns in our industry, I guess. So next we're going to move on to some case studies and wrap up the end of the presentation before we get to some Q&A, some demos of the tech stuff. So we're going to show you 2 case studies highlighting some very unique projects that we've had here at Contech. So underground containment isn't always about stormwater. So I referenced some harsh chemical storage out there. There are unique underground storage applications that are growing across the industry, particularly in the airfield side as airports do expansion on their runways and terminal projects. So we're going to discuss a case study using Duramax SRPE in a storage large amounts of glycol, a corrosive harsh material, as I referenced. So every product has its place. We talked about that before at the beginning when dealing with harsh chemicals rather than the stormwater I just referenced. SRPE is an excellent solution. So it's becoming a staple in the airfield side civil infrastructure projects, such as the case with the Des Moines reclamation tank design. So DSM, they needed to store, it's a crazy amount, almost 2 million gallons of glycol runoff. So for those not familiar with glycol, cold weather climates that hold the icing process, and they needed to do that with a 100+ year service life. So the team went in and used a 120-inch SRPE product. We were able to keep that storage containment area footprint small, meet that aircraft loading requirements, and provide that watertight solution that was needed for that airfield solution. So this case history is one of the many unique ones that you could find on the library. If you go to the learning section of our website, I forget what it's exactly called, but it's newly updated, super easy to find stuff in there. You're going to find the demonstrated performance of Duramax, the containment characteristics that it can offer, and then its strength profile as well. So now on to the tech portion. So many uses of our design center since it was updated about 2 years ago to what I'm calling V2. It's our next generation online design platform built to meet the ever-evolving needs of today's engineers. So what makes it stand out from the others in the industry is that it's been developed entirely in-house by civil engineers for civil engineers. So people that actually work in the industry is our software development team. They understand the real-world challenges our customers face. So it's going to support 2D and 3D design environments, allowing engineers to visualize and design a wide range of Contech products. So from our pipe, stormwater systems to bridges, all with precision and clarity. The interface is super intuitive, powerful, and customizable, so you can get those unique footprints with our products you're looking for. So users can input site-specific parameters, adjust configurations in our products. My favorite part, receiving red flag warnings. So not everybody likes a red flag, but when you're designing something that's outside of best practices, not in the best interest of the product, help you avoid issues before they arise. The software is going to do that. It is cloud powered, so you don't have to download anything, work with your IT folks to get something installed on your system. Updates happen automatically. It's web-based. You can access those designs from anywhere. And it has built-in virtual collaboration. So post-COVID, during COVID, this thing is becoming huge with the collaboration aspect that we built in the software. So you can share projects and designs amongst multiple projects with your key stakeholders, allow you guys to review real-time, review the models, review site plans, comments, really streamline decisions for this whole process. So it's bringing you speed, accuracy, collaboration all into one space. Designed, as I said, for engineers, by engineers, design made easy, tagline up there. Hey. So we're gonna get to the demo now, and then I'll be back in a little bit. When you first log into the Design Center, you're gonna see 4 product lines where you could choose your own designs. Looking at our Stormwater Solutions product, we have detention and treatment products. We're not gonna touch base on the treatment products, but we do have our new HDS DYO tool in there right now. Clicking into detention, you'll see options for CMP detention, Duramax detention, and ChamberMax detention. So we're gonna start with the CMP detention. Now starting with the best practice, you'll notice off to the top left, we have our toolbox. It's got 5 tabs. The parameters tab is going to be where you import your site-specific criteria, limiting length, width, your design type. We do have 2 options in the system, limiting to storage footprint, and then maximizing storage for a given area. The pipe info tab is going to be where you can manipulate and fine-tune your manifold designs, pipe spacing, and get a little bit more creative. The site plan is where we're going to start that best practice. So I already went ahead and uploaded the site PDF. and then I used this scaling function, found the legend, and did a point-to-point click, input that distance, and now everything is perfect and ready to go for the design process. That calculations tab is going to be where all the output from your design, real-time updates, footprint, stone storage. If you're doing a hybrid designs, pipe and stone, you're going to get your excavation, pavement, your length, pieces, loading information, etc. And then the advanced tab is where you're going to manipulate your design. So knocking out sections, navigating around utilities, adding elbows, T's, Y's, etc. So we're going to go ahead, and I've already input the site criteria from Andreas Houston project. It was 220 by 55 foot in length. We're going to target a 38,180 cubic foot storage detention system at 9 foot invert depth, rigid pavement, and 6 inches. So I went ahead and did that, left it as solid. We do have solid, perforated, and exfiltration option, but for detention, we'll leave it checked there, and then I'm going to hit click new generate system, and there we go. So now we're just going to have to move this off and start the design process. Okay, so using this move all function with the tool off to the right, we're going to drag this near an inlet and start the design process. So if you recall from the previous slide, we had some tight footprints to work with, some easement challenges, underground utilities. So we're going to move some of the storage off to the left underneath these parking spaces, add some manifolds, and then reroute some storage. So we're hitting that 38,180 that we're looking for. So using the select function, we're going to grab some pipe, delete it from this entrance area, and then relocate it over to here. So holding control and clicking all these pipes over here, they will turn red. We can delete them. Refresh all is going to put those bulkheads on automatically. Now we're going to go ahead and add the elbows, T's, and manifold. So add the left elbow. We can use the R function key to rotate. It'll automatically snap in place. We're going to add a T here. Again, rotating and then snapping in place. We're going to add a right elbow right there, snapping in place. All right, so now we're going to extend some storage over to here. Going to delete this corner piece and add another T. And now we're going to go ahead and add another pipe and reroute some of this storage. Now using the knockout function, we're going to go ahead and add an elbow off here and continue that storage increase off to the left here underneath those parking spaces. So using the select tool, we'll grab this pipe and we'll go over here to the knockout function. I'm going to do a 12-foot knockout, hit OK, enter. Now we're going to go ahead and add a T using the rotate function. Enter. Now we're going to come off with an elbow. Rotate that. Add it over there. And now we're going to bring that pipe all the way to the left here. Okay, so in the interest of time, I've sped up the design process so we're further down the way with our completed layout. So the things that we missed in order to speed this process up, we did get made aware of that we had some bit higher quality backfill than initially expected, so that allowed us to change the spacing on this project to 30 inches, so it brought that spacing in closer. Knocked out some sections off here on the top portion of the system. You can see I spoke to adding that elbow here and then carrying that extra storage required off to the left here. So just using that add function, so the add pipe off to here, then we reduce size here due to some utilities, then increased again back to that 96-inch size, added some risers, elbows, T's, and manifolds. So you can see just how truly unique this design is. And then we capped it off by double checking where all the inlet and outlet portions are on this particular project and making sure access risers were put in the actual needed location. So all in all, when we wrapped up this design, you can see we ended up with just a tad more than our target. So 38,654. There was no stone storage on this project with it being detention. You can see the loading, the footprint that we worked with on this particular system. So pretty advanced with what we're able to do with footprints. If you want to check out some additional features here quick, so we can actually turn the site plan on if you want to add further dimensions. So anything you add
from the tools off to the right, X dimensions, Y, they're going to carry forward to that CAD file, that PDF. So you can go in and make sure that you've got all those critical dimensions on there when you're looking at your site plan to make sure that everything lines up. And then you can actually go ahead and then add transparency if you want to go that far, get pretty fancy with it. The important thing here to notice is the final steps in the deliverables that you're looking for yourself and your client. So top right here, 3 output options for you as a user, so you can take a snapshot of the system's orientation however you have it in the design center. If you're looking for a BIM model to drop into other programs, that's going to be right here. And then if you hit this PDF DWG function, that's going to finalize the design process. You'll see a step-by-step process of what the cloud system's doing, and then you're going to get deliverables, your CAD files, your state storage amounts, site plans, layouts, and a few other things straight to your inbox, and usually 2 to 3 minutes there.
All right, I am back. So deliverables from that system, super useful. I saw somebody asked about fire truck loading and other construction loading tables. So you're going to get standard details with all those 3D models that depict what we're recommending and studies in that area. So this New Hope housing project down in Houston is the result of that DYO project. So focusing in on that design flexibility, you could see the customized nature of CMP, or really any of our pipe products can do this with the design center and our internal team. So helping you design around underground utilities, difficult easements, as I mentioned, and get creative with that footprint. So you see it snaking around to the left, top right finished project there. So the contractor was able to install this with a lot easier installation methods. And then the site got the benefit because it got 100% of that storage it needed without some complex multiple revision efforts. So this project also followed best practices in the industry for anything underground storage, detention, infiltration related. It used a 4-foot CDS pretreatment unit coupled with what we call the treatment train leading into that detention system. The 96-inch CMP coupled with a shallow outfall and then a pump really significantly reduced the footprint needed for this just under 40,000 cubic foot system in a tight commercial space out there. So wrapping things up, mastering underground detention systems, it's not about just picking and relying on one product and running with it every project you have. So multiple options are out there in the industry. It's about understanding applications and then choosing the right solution for the job. And that's where Contact delivers. You see the options that we have. We offer the depth and flexibility for design. Our internal SDE team, stormwater consultants, they can design for a variety of conditions out there, constraints and objectives. So moving on, customization. So that's been a theme throughout this presentation. It is your ally. Thoughtful layouts can unlock real cost savings for your clients, streamline both design and construction timelines. So constructability is a thing in underground detention. You can make contractors' lives easier, owners' lives easier with maintenance effort without compromising performance in your designs. And then getting into the maintenance effort, don't overlook long-term ownership with your clients for any of the products we discuss here. Having that maintenance conversation early on isn't optional. It's essential going forward. So you're not just designing for today. You can't get that stone storage back when sediment gets into that unless you're digging stuff up. You're building trust for the life of your system and the owners on the projects. And then finally, use the tools available to you. Technology like the Design Center helps you deliver high quality, professional results, your team, your clients, and then really for your reputation. So at the end of the day, great design is intentional, sorry. It's efficient and forward thinking, and we're here to help you lead the way in that area. And then finally, before we get to the Q&A, Contact's bringing more than just products, partnerships here. We bring an entire ecosystem of resources designed to make your job easier and more effective, streamlined. It starts with our team of local engineers. So we have a team of engineers and regulatory support for every zip code in the United States, Hawaii and Alaska included. They can provide project-specific guidance, regulatory mapping, hands-on expertise of when you need it and how to go about it. The suite of tech tools that we just talked about. We have our standard product design worksheets if you're not looking to get into some layout and design software. The design centers we just went through, they're all built to streamline the design, approval, and installation effort. improve accuracy in the industry of our products, and really speed up decision making. And then for inspiration and real world proof, I talked about the case studies, reviewed the Duramax, the New Hope Housing Project, that new section on our website. Case studies, PDH articles, I feel like I'm gonna miss something. They're just a click search, very intuitive. You could search by market, product, or application, find relevant practical content to help you with your projects and move forward with confidence if you're unfamiliar with working in a certain market, application, or product. So no matter what stage you're at, planning to post-construction, we're going to help you with the resources that we have. So I'm going to push it back over to Jill. Patrick's going to join us. He's an SDE, Stormwater Design Engineer, Technical Support. He's been answering questions in your chat. Andrea will get back in. So thank you, engineers, developers, owners, contractors, anyone with an interest in underground design, really. So Jill, back to you, I guess.
Well, don't go too far. I have a question for you about the design center. What are the requirements to use it, and is there a fee?
There is no fee. Very simple. I think it's like a minute process. Just name where you're designing and specifying projects, and then you'll get taken right to it. And we have a lot of guides on there that just house all your projects and design and allow that collaboration aspect. So I won't get too into it. If you want more materials, they're probably on one of the interactive things on the side there.
Thank you, Rob. Our next question is going to go to Andrea. How do you connect storm lines from the site to the CMP system?
Oh.
We can't hear you. You might be muted. We can come back to you, Rob. We have lots of questions, so I don't want to waste any time.
But you can, well, I'll answer as we get Andre back in once you question the system. So the underground detention systems, be it Duramax or CMP, you can tie into any existing lines with a variety of couplers. So I don't want to call out specific suppliers, but being able inlet and outlet points, you can customize that. We do have conveyance products. That's really what Contech was founded on, drainage products. So ultra flow, storm sewer products, they go all the way up to 36 inches. We've got PVC products. And then if you're looking to tie into existing infrastructure with HDPE or RCP, we can offer guidance in that. So there's really nothing that you can't tie into that's out there.
Thank you, Rob. Our next question is, does the inclusion of the exfiltration joint increase costs significantly? We have a site with low infiltration and wondering if the savings in pipe size would be worth considering exfiltration joints.
I saw that one earlier and wanted to respond. So the exfiltration joint uses solid pipe, and it actually is a cost saving and more greener product. So most of the steel is produced in southern Ohio, in specific areas around water sources, Great Lakes area. But traditional perforated pipe, so that pipe with the holes, needs to be shipped to a processor to do all that post-production stuff. So punching holes so you can get that infiltration, exfiltration, and then ultimately to one of our manufacturing plants. So the exfiltration joint is all around that joint design. So you're using material that's more often than not already at our existing locations. You're avoiding, if you've got I'll screw up the math, so I won't give you specific numbers, but you're avoiding multiple semi-trucks bringing it to a processor and then back into a manufacturing plant. And then also all that scrap associated with punching that holes in that pipe product.
Thank you, Rob. The next question is, can the elbows for the detention system be installed at angles other than 90 degrees?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
You're back.
Okay. I'm back. Apologies for that. Yes, we can make custom elbows that are not 90 degrees. Yes, we can pretty much make any angle work.
Thank you, Andrea. Next question is, does Contech assist the engineer in designing the outlet control manhole and orifice plate discharge needs to match the pre-development runoff rate?
So we can definitely help with the with orifice plate or the structure downstream. If you place that outlet control downstream of the detention, but we will have to know, the exact size of that orifice and the elevation where it needs to be placed. And then we can incorporate it in our design.
Thank you, Andrea. Our next question is, can you speak about where your products are made? Are they made in America?
I'll grab that one, I guess. So I forget the exact number of locations. So we have a location manufacturing facility just about near every major moderately sized city in the U.S. All this steel is 100% American made. It's coming from Ohio, Mississippi, Indiana, and a few other sources around the Great Lakes water bodies. We have the Duramax SRPE. We have 2 production facilities, one on each side of the country, and then a variety of precasters set up for Urban Pond and then formers for the ChamberMax product. Not as robust national manufacturing footprint as the corrugated metal pipe production facilities. But more often than not, unless you're working with aluminum, for those that don't know, those slabs are coming in from overseas. About 85% of aluminum is American made. Really, that's the only product where there's just that slight non-domestic production aspect of really anything in our portfolio.
Thank you, Rob. Next question is, our local jurisdiction's fire department is now requiring us to design for 85,000-pound truck, which is higher than the typical HS20 loading. Are any of these products rated for an 85,000-pound load?
I will take that question, Jill. So we will have to run calculations on our end to determine if we need to increase the amount of cover over the system, and also maybe thicken the gauge on the CMP pipe, or maybe a combination of both. But yes, we can definitely design for higher loads. We do a lot of systems where we need to account for fire truck loading. And I know that there's different fire trucks out there with, some of them are bigger than others, and we can definitely accommodate that. Just get with your stormwater consultant and local stormwater design engineer, and they can help you with that.
Thank you, Andrea. And we have time for one last question, and that is, how often does the system need maintenance?
I can take that, Jill. So maintenance is very site dependent. So no 2 sites are the same, right? So it really depends on what type of site you have. And then also if the local jurisdiction requires annual maintenance, for example. If it's not required, then we highly recommend annual inspection to determine how that system is doing. And then, based on the visual inspection, it will be then determined if maintenance is needed or not at that time.
Well, thank you, Andrea and Rob, and thank you everyone for participating in today's webinar. If your question was not answered, a contact representative will reach out to you with a response. A survey will appear once we conclude the webinar. Please complete the brief survey to receive your PDH credit. A follow-up email will be sent by the end of the day that will include a link with instructions on how to download your PDH certificate. That concludes today's webinar. Thank you again for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.